It's showtime, folks!
Ladies and gentlemen, Impact Wrestling fans, I am back once again. I'm here to talk about Impact Wrestling. As always, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Today, Rosemary. This was some tough news. I seen on the Wrestling Perspective podcast, Petey Williams could have broke some news that Rosemary has a torn ACL. She suffered the injury during a match with Jessica Havoc back in February. It would seem as if last week's angle was a write-off. So this sucks on multiple levels. First, wish Rosemary the best, hope she gets well. But there were a lot of flashpoints that caught my eye in this story. And the first one was February. Like, she suffered the knee injury back then. So Rosemary has been working through something or been working through this ever since February. And if you watch any kind of sports, you know when you hear torn ACL, that means out for the year. Done. And there are these rare occurrences where you have like a John Elway that just plays through it, or plays a game through it, or plays however many games through it. You have a football player that plays a game through it, and eventually they have to get surgery. And this is just amazing from Rosemary's standpoint. It explains why there wasn't much of a match last on the recent tapings versus Su Yung, but it's just plain amazing that she has this knee injury back in February. I don't know what the extent was back then, but obviously it was something to be worried about, but she worked through it. And moving on, another thing that caught my attention was obviously the angle last week. I did a whole YouTube video last week on talking about the angle and how I thought it would progress. I thought this was just the start of the Rosemary Su Yung angle. And now, obviously, with this news, this seems like a write-off until Rosemary returns. So, if it is a write-off, this was a pretty decent way, not even a pretty decent way, a really good way to write her off. Now she's going to be out for a good while, I can only assume. And she's going to come back like a house of fire, ready to tear Su Yung down. Hopefully Su Yung has the title back up until then, so Rosemary can come back ready to take the title from her, ready to avenge Allie. So this sucks. It sucks to see Rosemary out. Rosemary is like one of the faces of Impact. And I like Impact Wrestling, and I like what they do because they don't set one person. They haven't really set one person as the face of the company in a long time. They don't set one person as the face of the company, and like others, they set a lot of people as faces of the company. They push people fairly, so that way there is no face of the company. It's just a group of guys and girls that are faces of the company. And Rosemary was towards the top when it came to faces of the company. So this is a huge loss. It'll be interesting to see how the women's division moves on without Rosemary, and I will be paying much close attention to it. Let me know down below, what do you think about this story, Rosemary with the torn ACL? How would the women's division fare without Rosemary? Let me know down below.